Hey there, welcome back. Today's episode is a part 2 from my last, which I didn't intend, but I remembered some more stuff I want to share. So let's get into it. Now, there's a couple of videos that Quartz Crystal made. They're kind of relevant to each other in the respect that it's talking about our choices. Well, that's most of her videos, but in particular, there was a video where she put out that was talking about the choices, the frequency of our clothing choices. And like denim is a low frequency. So ever since she made that video, I stopped wearing denim. I threw all my denim clothes out and started to make conscious choices in picking pants, etc., like that. So that's been my wardrobe for the last 6 years. I wear pants or yoga pants, whatever, you know. I wear what's comfortable given my vocations. So, and I do have some work clothing that's suitable for what I'm going to be doing going forward. Another video that she put out where she was talking about, like, if you want to get the better job, a higher paying job, a more professional job, that you kind of do the fake it till you make it. So you start acquiring the professional wardrobe that fits the role that you want. So you embody that thing that you want to be. So that's another thing that I've always remembered. Okay. So the clothing is a factor because it has frequency. So then I think about, like, I have the fortunate position of being in close proximity to a very affluent part of the country. And I see these are people that actually have wealth. And I've worked for some of these people. I've been in some of these people's homes. And I see the choices that they make in their homes as far as the building materials, but also, but that's getting off sidetrack, but it is relevant. Like, you see them pick the higher end finishes and the way they decorate and everything. Like, I'm going to tell you, these people are clean. Granted, they might have people cleaning their houses, but they're clean. The cleanliness is something I always pay attention to. Okay. So there's that. And a lot of white. And I love that. And I know it's not everybody's thing, but white just makes everything look cleaner. It makes it look bigger. It makes it look airier. Anyway, I digress. I also worked for somebody who had a consignment shop, a high-end luxury consignment shop in this town, in this city. So I was around the luxury goods all the time, but I have that unique position of being a people watcher and seeing and observing them. What are they wearing? What are the most of the brands that they buy? Now, there's those mid-tier lifestyle brands like J. Crew, Zara, Aritzia, Madewell, Rag and Bone, Lululemon, Lily Pulitzer, Vineyard Vines, etc. Like Brooks Brothers. Those are like those mid-tier kind of lifestyle brands. Those are their brands that they go to when they're not buying the higher end luxury stuff like Chanel, Versace, all of that. Those are their mainstays, like their staples. Don't get me wrong, there are people wearing the much higher end stuff, no question. But for the most part, they're picking the preppy kind of lifestyle brands as their normal day-to-day wear. But a lot of those brands do use more natural fibers, right? So that's important when you look at like the natural fibers. They wear stuff that they pick clothing that wears better overall. Cotton. Some brands are just like you look at like Anne Fontaine. Those are always like all cotton, 100% cotton. Brooks Brothers. All those, it's like cotton, silk, linen, wool, cashmere, angora, etc. You know what I'm saying? Like, you name it. All those natural fibers, even leather. Well, I don't know about leather, but leather is still not a more natural thing when you look at the shoes. Obviously, shoes are going to be manufactured better, and handbags and wallets and all of that. So I've always kind of paid attention to this stuff, and it's, well, okay, so I see how they're dressing. Now, for me, it's, as a chunky girl, it's not always so easy to buy pieces in these brands. Although there are some brands that sell a higher extended sizes. So yes, I can kind of get into there. And I would say in the last 3 years, slowly but surely, I've done some changes. While you may not think that, like, spending money at Athleta is like significant, for me it is, because for me to spend upwards to $70, $80, $90 for a pair of yoga pants is quite a bit of money. Even something like Fabletics, but like anything that's like that much, when you're getting close to $100 for a pair of yoga pants, and the reason why I don't have Lululemon is because Lululemon doesn't make my size. But the next best thing for me was Athleta. Making that change to buy some higher end athletic wear, okay, that was number one for me. Also, in the last 6 months, I made a decision to buy nicer jewelry pieces. Not a lot of stuff, just a few things. I've curated a little bit of an earring collection. Well, this may not be anything significant. It is a mindset change for me, because when I was younger, I had gold jewelry and that was my thing, and I liked gold. And then, like, up to a certain age, then I started to lose some of my gold pieces, and that kind of irritated me. And eventually I just kind of I evolved into getting sterling, and I had amassed like a little sterling silver collection that I really liked my pieces. They were very funky and unique. And eventually, either I lost some of the pieces, but ultimately when gold and silver got very high, I sold whatever I had to get money. And then I never replenished that. But I also was always disappointed when I would lose something that I really liked. So I never wanted to invest money in that again. So I would just pick cheapo earrings from like Target or someplace not very high end at all. So just changing my mindset about buying myself some nicer, like mid tier, not super high price point jewelry. Anything from like a $25 pair of earrings to a $65 pair of earrings, which I would never do. I haven't done that in decades. But I said, you know what? I'm going to make that change, because that is helping me make these little changes. Also, a couple years ago, I invested in handbags that I would have never in a million years paid as much as I did for them. And I did not pay a lot. I did not pay, like, when you look at luxury, or just a standard handbag, like a quality handbag, they really were not very much, but they were much more than I ever would have paid up until that point. But those things helped me change my mindset. Even now, the bag I had to buy to replace the one that got stolen with the car, it's a Kate Spade purse, it was cheaper than the one that got stolen, but it's a nice purse. And it's Kate Spade. It's not like anything major, but there is like a frequency there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that to me makes it I feel nice wearing that purse, carrying that purse. So things like that, just small little changes. So I subscribe to something called Rocksbox. I mean, it's been around for a minute, and you could pick 3 pieces of jewelry to be mailed out to you. And then, you have the option of sending back anything you don't like, but I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to wear something and send it back, but you can buy it over time. So whatever you pay for the subscription every month goes towards a piece, or goes towards a purchase. So every couple of months, I'll buy a piece from my set that was sent to me. So I have a little curation of earrings and some other jewelry like rings and etc. and some necklaces that are a little bit more fancy than what I had previously purchased. Then also, ever since I've started on my frequency journey, I'm going to tell you my sensitivity to perfumes and scents changed. I've always been somebody who has been incredibly sensitive to perfumes and soaps and things like that. Like, I still have a soap out. Like, I can't use certain soaps. I get contact dermatitis, but the scents used to drive me bananas because my mother had that allergy, my brother has it, and then I would have it and it would give me headaches. Bad perfumes would give me such vicious headaches. But ever since the frequency journey started for me, that changed and I can tolerate the things better, which is odd because she also made a video about that you may be more sensitive to. Don't get me wrong, I'm like foul odors, way sensitive, way sensitive. And this is a completely side note because this is something I noticed tonight and this was so bizarre. I was out working, so I was doing deliveries because, I still got to make some money until I start bringing money in. But I was out doing deliveries and I've noticed something that when I know, even if I'm in an area that I don't know, I know when I'm hitting a lower frequency area, like the people that live in it. There's like this musty smell that I've been like it's always been there with certain spots. And I know just from that smell, I know what kind of area I'm going into. And I never noticed it until tonight. And it was so weird. And I was like, I don't even know this neighborhood. I've never been in this neighborhood, but I guarantee you I could tell you who lives here. And I was right because then I saw some people. I was like, oh my goodness, I knew it. And it clicked for me that it was something with the smell of the area. And it's not industrial, it's musty. It's like musty old lady with like some powdery perfume. That's the only way I can describe it. So anyway, I digress. I used to be so sensitive to perfumes and I would curse people that wore it. I hated it. But anyway, I've become more accustomed to different scents, and that goes for soaps and perfumes. So I decided to get some perfume samples, like little sample vials from like micro perfumes of really nice little gourmand or niche perfumes to see. I mean, they're gorgeous. They're so pretty. Like, yeah, I probably will eventually down the road buy some because I've never been like a big person on perfumes and I always had to be very particular on what I bought. But what made me think of this whole thing tonight was I was sniffing myself because the perfume I'm wearing is like gorgeous and it's just, oh, I could sniff myself all night. So that's what made me think about this. I was like, these are little mindset changes. And I'm not saying you got to go crazy and spend any money, whatever. But for me, this is helping me bridge that gap in my mindset of, am I going to be stingy with myself or am I going to get myself accustomed? If I want the nicer lifestyle, I'm getting myself accustomed to living in that kind of lifestyle where there may be pieces of things that are worthwhile acquiring because of the frequency. And that's really it. So I'm not